Self-esteem has always been something I struggle with. I grew up in the world of classical music and I always wanted to be the best. But the fact of the matter was, no matter how much I practiced or how much natural talent I had, there was always someone who was better. And while I surrounded myself by loving and supportive family, it slowly chipped away at my self-esteem, this not being the best. But I hid it well. I was loud and laughed at myself more than anyone, but it was only to hide how I truly felt. I chose to focus on self-esteem in hoping to learn how to better treat and view myself. Self-esteem is built on our backgrounds and our experiences. This means that not only can we have high self-esteem, but we can also have low self-esteem. In my previous example, it can be said that I felt emotionally distressed about not being able to meet an internal standard. However, I know that others saw me in the same situation as being worthy of any recognition I received. When I was first married, I was a vocal performance major in college, and I had to practice singing all the time. There were practice rooms in the school, which were little tiny rooms the size of a queen-sized bed, and all they had in there was an upright piano, no insulation, and they held smells for days. As I didn't like singing in a little tiny box where I could be heard from 3 floors above, I practiced at home. We had a 1,000 square foot house with all wood floors and had managed to get a free upright piano to put in one of the rooms. When I practiced, the acoustics were spectacular. The sound bounced around and rebounded all over the house. It was like singing in a giant shower. It was fantastic. That is, until my husband came home and needed to do homework and didn't want the distraction of my super loud singing. He'd crack jokes and make snide comments about the loudness so frequently until I just quit practicing altogether. And as soon as I got my associate's degree, I stopped singing entirely, except at church or with my parents. What does this story have to do with self-esteem? Our experiences are born in our intimate relationships with our families and friends. In my case, my husband gave me such a hard time about my singing that I started to doubt myself and my abilities, even though I was very good. I allowed those insecure feelings to affect the way I saw myself, and it eventually bled over into the rest of my life. I struggled to find a balance between pleasing my husband and myself until ultimately I failed at both. Sherry Newman, a child development and family teacher, has said, "Self-esteem comes from learning to accept who we are by seeing the insufficiencies and still choosing to like ourselves." So after 11 and a half years, and after my husband left, I turned again to music. It was my music that helped me through that difficult time and helped me keep my spirits up. I'd practice every night after my girls went to bed, and within 3 months, I performed the soprano solos during the performance of Handel's Messiah, which was quite an accomplishment. Through this time, I focused on myself and what I wanted and needed. I engaged in an activity that bolstered my pride in myself and helped me commune with deity in a way that nothing else can. In a sense, choosing to accept who I was and liking myself mended my self-esteem. So how do we develop the self-esteem we'd like, or the self-esteem we perhaps once had? Through my research, I have identified 4 pieces of success. Number 1, identify the challenge in your negative beliefs. What do I mean by that? Well, self-esteem begins with change. So ask yourself, do I want to change? If the answer is yes, try asking yourself, what would my life be like if I could get rid of that negative thought? Now imagine what that perceived challenge, if that perceived challenge went away. In my case, what would happen if I had challenged the thought that my husband wouldn't love me if I kept singing? If you challenged that negative thought and if it went away, how would you feel towards yourself? I probably would have kept singing and been much happier with myself. Number 2, identify the positive in yourself. Self-esteem comes from the ability to solve problems. So what part of the problem is within your control? For me, when I was young, it could have been, I can work my hardest and do my best. If someone outperforms me, I'm happy for them and will work even harder. Another thought in identifying the positive is that self-esteem comes from the ability to cultivate inner peace. And what exactly does that mean? How do we cultivate inner peace? Well, we can pray to learn how to overcome any challenges and love God. I can think positively and love myself. I can take care of my appearance. I can eat right and exercise. I can get enough sleep. I can be nice to myself and others, and I can be grateful. The third piece of success is build positive relationships and avoid negative ones. Choose to live the life you want today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Build a positive relationship with yourself and then branch out to those around you. And finally, number 4, give yourself credit. Take responsibility and accept compliments from others. Don't brush off the praise, just smile and say thank you. The more you do this, the easier it will become. Here's an example you can try. Make a list of all your talents and strengths, all of them. Look at them every day, say them out loud to yourself, and believe them. Self-esteem is largely about adjusting the way you think and feel about yourself. You can change your attitude. So what can you do today to help you feel better tomorrow? Will you pray to learn how to overcome your challenges? Will you think positively about yourself? Will you take care of your body? Will you be grateful and gracious? If we don't have self-esteem, then we don't have the faith that our Heavenly Father knew what He was doing when He created us. We can't know how to help others until we know how to help ourselves. No matter what our background and where our lives take us, we can lean on our Heavenly Father and choose each day to like ourselves. Thank you.